Blessed Mother Mary, I love you. Please heal me.
Oliver Grant was 3 years old when he started talking to someone in the garden at home. The problem was, there was no one there. At least, no one the adults could see. Within 2 months, 5 impossible things happened. 5 warnings that a 3-year-old child should not have known. This is the story of what happened in that house in Portland, and of the miracle of the Virgin Mary that no one can explain. But before we continue, leave a comment saying where you're watching from and what time it is there right now. I'd love to see how far the miracles of the Virgin Mary are reaching. The Grant family's life was about to change completely. David worked as an architect, leaving home at 7 a.m. every morning and returning around sunset. Emily, his wife, worked as an elementary school teacher, a woman who loved books, order, and the quiet rhythm of routine. They had tried to have children for 9 years. 9 years of hope followed by disappointment. Treatments, tests, waiting rooms, tears. Until one day, Emily looked in the bathroom mirror and whispered, "Enough. I can't keep doing this." That was the day they decided to adopt. The process took nearly 2 years. 2 years of interviews, inspections, papers, and prayers. And then one rainy February morning, the call finally came. There's a boy, 3 years old. His name is Oliver. When Emily saw his photo, she started to cry. Light brown hair, blue-gray eyes too large for his small face, and a serious expression no child his age should have. When Oliver arrived that spring afternoon, he carried a tiny backpack containing everything he owned: 3 sets of clothes, a worn-out blanket, and a small red toy truck with a missing wheel. You know that moment when you just know your life has changed forever, even if you don't yet understand how? Emily felt that when Oliver stepped through their front door. He stopped at the entryway, eyes scanning everything, not with curiosity, but caution, as if measuring how long before he'd be sent away again. Emily knelt down. "Hi, Oliver. Welcome home." Oliver only nodded. The Grant home had a small backyard garden that Emily adored. She had planted lavender, roses, and tulips when they first moved in. In one quiet corner, shaded by an old maple tree, stood a small stone shrine, a 5-foot niche holding a marble statue of the Virgin Mary, hands extended forward, her robe painted soft blue. The statue had belonged to Emily's grandmother. When she passed, Emily brought it home, saying it made her feel like her grandmother was still watching over her. David found it beautiful. Neither of them imagined Oliver would be the one most drawn to it. It started one Saturday afternoon. Emily was cooking when she looked out the kitchen window. Oliver was standing in front of the shrine, small hands resting on the stone, head tilted up at the statue. He wasn't playing. He was listening. The next morning, it happened again. After breakfast, he asked softly, "Can I go outside?" It was the first time he had asked for anything. Emily watched as he walked straight to the shrine, ignoring the toys scattered on the lawn. His lips moved. He was talking, quietly, seriously, as if in a conversation. Emily went outside. "Oliver, who are you talking to, sweetheart?" He looked up. "To the lady in blue." Emily froze. "The lady in blue?" He pointed at the Virgin Mary. "She's kind. She said you want me to stay, that you won't send me away." Tears filled Emily's eyes. She knelt on the grass. "You're not going anywhere, Oliver. This is your home now, forever." Oliver looked at her. That's what she said too. 2 weeks later, Oliver ran into the kitchen, panic in his voice. "Mom, Emily, something's wrong at Mr. Walker's house." Mr. Walker, their elderly neighbor, lived alone next door. "The lady in blue said it smells bad and it's dangerous. We have to tell him now." Emily hesitated, but there was something in his voice that made her listen.
Minutes later, she was at the fence, calling to Mr. Walker. He came out from the garage, wiping his hands. "Hi, Emily. Everything all right? Have you smelled anything strange in your house lately?" His smile faded. "Actually, yes. A weird sweet smell in the kitchen." An hour later, the gas company confirmed a gas leak behind his stove. A few more hours, and it could have been catastrophic. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. The next month, Emily picked up her anxiety medication from the pharmacy. When she placed the bottle on the counter, Oliver walked in. "Mom, Emily, don't take that." "Why not?" "The lady in blue said it's the wrong one." Emily almost laughed, but then she remembered the gas leak. She called the pharmacy anyway. 15 minutes later, the manager told her there'd been a labeling error. If she had taken it, the dose would have caused a severe reaction. Emily sat in her car shaking, whispering, "Thank you, Lady in Blue." A week later, Oliver told her, "Aunt Claire is sick." Emily froze. Her sister Claire lived 2 hours away. They hadn't spoken in over a year after an argument. "She needs to go to the doctor. The lady in blue said it's serious." Emily called anyway. Claire answered, voice weak. "I've had awful stomach pain for days, but I didn't want to make a fuss." Hours later, doctors confirmed it was appendicitis, about to rupture. Claire survived because Emily called. That day, the sisters made peace for the first time in years. It was mid-July when Oliver came running into the living room, tears in his eyes. "Mom, Dad, Mrs. Taylor's tree, it's going to fall. The lady in blue said it's going to fall on her house tonight." Mrs. Taylor lived across the street, her yard dominated by a giant oak. David tried to reassure him, but Emily insisted they warned her. Mrs. Taylor thanked them politely, but didn't believe it. That night, a violent storm hit.
At 9:40 p.m., a thunderous crash shook the entire neighborhood. The oak tree had fallen directly onto Mrs. Taylor's bedroom, but she wasn't there. "Something in me told me to sleep in the guest room," she cried later. "Your son saved my life." The next Monday, Oliver went out to the garden and sat in front of the statue for a long time. Emily watched from the window as he spoke softly, then listened, tears on his cheeks. Finally, he nodded and came inside. "What did she say, sweetheart?" Emily asked. "She said I helped who needed it, that now I can just be a kid, and that she'll always take care of me." Emily hugged him tightly. That was the last time Oliver spoke to the lady in blue. Months passed. He laughed more, played, made friends, lived the childhood he deserved. Sometimes he'd stop by the shrine, touch the base, smile at the statue, and run off to play. Emily always whispered, "Thank you, Virgin Mary, for bringing him to us." And sometimes, when the wind blew gently through the garden, she could swear she smelled roses stronger than before, sweet, warm, and full of peace. The statue of the Virgin Mary still stands in the Grant family's garden. No one knows how to explain what happened in those 2 months. Coincidence, imagination, or miracle? What we know is that a 3-year-old boy once saved lives, healed hearts, and restored faith through the voice of the Lady in Blue. Before we finish, I want to invite you to join our prayer community for the Virgin Mary, a space of faith and hope where people from all over the world come together to pray and share the graces they've received. If you feel in your heart the desire to be part of this chain of prayer, click below and become a member of the channel today. Come pray with us. And if you've made it this far, write in the comments, Lady in Blue, so we'll know this story touched one more heart, one more soul that still believes miracles happen. May the Virgin Mary bless and protect you and your family. Amen. Early spring in the suburbs of Portland, Oregon brought a crisp freshness to the air, each breath carrying a subtle promise of renewal. Bishop Barron walked into the small parish church, its time-worn wooden walls reflecting the soft glow from the stained glass windows, scattering colors of blue, red, and gold across the stone floor. He exhaled slowly, feeling the rare peace that comes only in quiet moments before the day truly begins. Today's Mass was no different from hundreds he had celebrated before. Familiar readings, familiar prayers, the gentle chime of bells, and the soft scent of burning candles. Yet today, something felt different, a subtle tension intertwined with calm, as if something unseen awaited him within these walls. During the celebration of the Eucharist, a shaft of sunlight pierced the eastern window, casting a thin golden beam across the altar. For a brief moment, Bishop Barron closed his eyes and lowered his head. He felt a presence, gentle and comforting, standing nearby, not visible but profoundly real. A warmth spread through him, an inexplicable serenity that made his heartbeat slow. After Mass, he stepped outside, inhaling the fresh spring air. Cherry blossoms had begun to bloom, their fragrance carried softly on the breeze. Bishop Barron sat on the stone steps for a moment, thinking about his work, the countless souls he guided, and the quiet responsibilities of pastoral life. Soon, a weariness settled over him, not the kind that comes from physical labor, but the spiritual fatigue of years of service. Returning to the sacristy to rest briefly before traveling to another parish, he sank into the old wooden chair and closed his eyes. Sleep came quickly, and he drifted into a different world. In his dream, the space around him glowed with a soft, ethereal light, not sunlight, but a gentle illumination that seemed to come from within. Standing within that light was the Virgin Mary. She did not speak. Her hands were extended, as if offering something invisible yet infinitely precious. Her face radiated kindness and love, yet there was a quiet authority that made Bishop Barron's heart stir in awe. He wanted to step closer, to speak, to hear a word, but his feet felt rooted to the spot. Only her gaze, her serene smile, and the overwhelming gentleness enveloped him. A deep sense of peace filled him, yet beneath it was a subtle tension, as if a message was waiting to be revealed, but the time had not yet come. When he awoke, Bishop Barron sat upright in the chair, the vividness of the dream lingering. It was unlike any dream he had ever experienced, so real, so full of presence that he blinked several times to remind himself it was only sleep. Yet a strange premonition remained. Something significant was about to unfold at this church. He looked out the window. Outside, the blossoms swayed gently in the wind, and birdsong filled the quiet air. No one else could see it, but Bishop Barron felt a presence, listening, watching, observing the smallest gestures of his day. And from deep within, a small, mysterious question arose. Could what I just saw in my dream be a message from the Virgin Mary? He didn't know the answer, but an undeniable sense of urgency pressed upon him. A quiet call to remain at the church longer, to pay close attention, and to notice every detail, even the smallest ones. The signs had not yet appeared, but the dream had planted a seed, a silent preparation for something miraculous, or, at the very least, extraordinary. The days after the dream were quiet, almost eerily so. Bishop Barron went about his usual parish duties, yet his mind lingered on the vision he had seen. The Virgin Mary, her serene smile, and the gentle authority of her presence. Something tugged at him, a subtle insistence that he pay closer attention to the parish grounds. It was a Thursday afternoon when he first noticed her. Bishop Barron was walking around the exterior of the small church, checking the condition of the wooden doors and the old stone steps. That's when he saw her, an elderly woman standing just beyond the threshold of the church's front entrance. She was thin and frail, wrapped in a long, faded shawl, her white hair tucked neatly beneath a worn hat. Her hands gripped the edge of the doorway, and she peered inside, almost as if she were watching for something, or someone.
Bishop Barron stopped in his tracks, a chill running down his spine. The woman hadn't noticed him yet. Her gaze was fixed, unwavering, and it carried a depth that felt almost unnatural. There was no warmth in the look, nor malice, only something else, something that felt like a silent message being conveyed without words. "Good afternoon," he said, cautiously, stepping closer. His voice seemed to startle her. She turned slowly, revealing eyes that were piercing yet kind, eyes that seemed to see far beyond the visible. "Good afternoon, Father," she said, softly. Her voice was thin, barely more than a whisper, yet it carried an odd clarity, as if every word had been weighed and measured. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" Bishop Barron asked, trying to mask the unease he felt. The woman shook her head slightly, a faint smile brushing her lips. "I'm here because she sent me," she said. Then, without another word, she straightened her back and turned away, walking slowly down the path beside the church. Bishop Barron watched her go, feeling a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Who was she, and who was she that had sent her? The phrasing lingered in his mind, heavy with mystery. Over the next few days, the woman returned at seemingly random times. Sometimes in the early morning when the sunlight slanted through the stained glass, sometimes in the late afternoon when shadows stretched long across the lawn. Always, she lingered near the entrance, never entering, never speaking more than a few cryptic words. One afternoon, Bishop Barron noticed her again while tending to the flower beds near the church's side chapel. The air had a crisp edge, and the faint scent of lilies hung in the breeze. "Father Barron," she said softly, almost as if she had been waiting for him to approach. "She wants you to watch closely. Pay attention to what others overlook. There are small signs, but they are important." Bishop Barron felt a shiver of unease. "Signs? What signs?" he asked, though he already sensed that the answer was not something easily explained. The woman only nodded once, slowly, and turned to leave. Her presence faded into the quiet suburban street, leaving him with a heightened sense of alertness, as though the world had subtly shifted around him. That evening, Bishop Barron sat in the quiet of the rectory, reflecting on the events. The dream had been mysterious enough, but now the appearance of the woman added another layer of enigma. Something was unfolding at this church, something beyond ordinary understanding, and somehow the Virgin Mary was at the center of it all. As night fell, he glanced out the rectory window toward the empty churchyard. Shadows stretched across the lawn, and the wind whispered through the trees. For a moment, he thought he saw a faint silhouette by the doorway, but when he blinked, it was gone. A subtle fear mingled with reverence settled over him. He didn't know what was coming, nor why the woman had appeared, but he knew one thing. He had to stay vigilant. Something was waiting, something silent yet urgent, and it was up to him to notice the smallest signs before they passed him by. And somewhere, deep in the stillness of the night, he felt the faintest whisper of certainty. The Virgin Mary was near, guiding him, preparing him for what was yet to come. The week following the mysterious woman's appearances was filled with a strange tension. Bishop Barron tried to go about his duties as usual, preparing homilies, visiting parishioners, and attending meetings, but he couldn't shake the sense that something extraordinary was unfolding at the small suburban church. It started subtly. One morning, while lighting the altar candles for a daily mass, Bishop Barron noticed something odd. A single candle flickered violently despite the absence of any draft. He reached to steady it, but the flame wavered again, bending toward the tabernacle as if drawn by an unseen force. He blinked, looking around, but the room was still, silent, and empty. Over the next few days, other strange occurrences followed. Sunlight streaming through the stained glass would catch the edges of the altar in unexpected ways, forming patterns that resembled hands, or the soft outline of a woman draped in flowing robes. Occasionally, he thought he heard a whisper in the stillness of the church, faint but unmistakable, as though someone were speaking just behind the veil of sound. The mysterious woman appeared again that Thursday afternoon, leaning gently against the doorway. Her eyes, as deep and piercing as before, met Bishop Barron's. "Do you see it, Father?" she asked softly. "The signs, they are everywhere if you know how to look." Bishop Barron hesitated. I think I do," he said cautiously. "But why? What am I supposed to understand?" The woman's lips curved into a faint smile. "She has work for you. Observe, listen, and act when necessary. Do not dismiss the whispers of the small and the unseen." Then, just as silently as she had come, she turned and walked down the street, leaving him alone with the faint echo of her words. That night, Bishop Barron could not sleep. He kept replaying the candle's strange movements, the light patterns on the altar, and the whisper he had heard in the empty church. Each event seemed minor on its own, but together they formed a web of mystery that tugged insistently at his soul. The following morning, he decided to spend extra time in the church before Mass. Kneeling in quiet prayer, he allowed his mind to focus on the sensations he had ignored. The gentle draft that was never there, the subtle warmth near the tabernacle, and the faint sense of presence that seemed to linger in the corners of the sanctuary. It was then that he noticed it, a small, almost imperceptible movement near the stained glass of the east window. At first, he thought it was a shadow from a passing cloud. But as he studied it, the shape became more distinct. A faint outline of a figure, draped in soft blue, hands outstretched as if offering comfort or guidance. Bishop Barron's heart quickened. He recalled the dream he had had just a week earlier. The Virgin Mary, her gentle hands extended, the peace that had filled him. Could this be the same presence, now manifesting through these subtle signs?
The mysterious woman had said, "Observe, listen, and act when necessary." Bishop Barron felt the weight of those words. He didn't understand everything yet, but he knew instinctively that each flicker of candlelight, each whisper of shadow, and each strange pattern of sunlight carried meaning. Later that afternoon, as he walked past the church doors, he noticed the woman standing silently, watching him again. This time, she spoke without turning. "She is here, Bishop. She walks beside you even when unseen. Trust in what you feel, for soon you will need to act." Before he could ask more, she had disappeared into the quiet suburban street, leaving Bishop Barron with a growing sense of urgency. Something was coming, something he could not yet name, but which would require him to be vigilant, courageous, and open to the extraordinary. He returned to the rectory that evening, his mind alive with questions. Was it coincidence? Was it imagination? Or was it truly the presence of the Virgin Mary, guiding him, preparing him for events that might test the limits of faith and reason alike? As he knelt in the dimly lit chapel, whispering a prayer for clarity, Bishop Barron felt a soft warmth wash over him, a reassurance that the path ahead, though mysterious and uncertain, was not one he would walk alone. Somewhere beyond the threshold of the ordinary world, he sensed the faintest echo of a presence that was both comforting and commanding, a reminder that the divine often moves through the quiet, unseen spaces of life. And in that stillness, he realized, the extraordinary had begun. It was a gray, overcast morning when Bishop Barron stepped outside the rectory. The air smelled faintly of rain, and the wind carried a chill that nipped at his cheeks. For several days now, the mysterious woman had appeared almost daily, lingering silently at the church doorway, sometimes watching, sometimes disappearing into the shadows. Today, he decided he could no longer ignore her presence. He approached the entrance cautiously. "Good morning," he called, his voice steady but tinged with curiosity. The woman turned slowly, her white hair shimmering faintly in the muted daylight.
Her eyes, deep and unwavering, met his. For a moment, neither spoke. It was as if the space between them carried more meaning than words ever could. Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Father, I am here because she sent me." Bishop Barron felt a shiver run down his spine. "She?" he asked gently, though he already suspected the answer. "The lady in blue," the woman said. "She has watched over this place for many years, and now she has work for you." Bishop Barron frowned slightly, trying to understand. "Work for me? What does she want?"
The woman's gaze softened. Patience, vigilance, and action when the signs appear. Small things, Father, simple gestures, but each has meaning, each carries purpose. She uses the smallest of hearts, the unnoticed hands, to speak to those willing to listen. He studied her, sensing both the weight and the urgency in her words. "You mean, like you?" he asked. She smiled faintly, almost wistfully. "Perhaps, perhaps not. I am only a messenger. The true guidance comes from her. She is the one who watches over the suffering, the lonely, the forgotten. And now she seeks to guide you as well." Bishop Barron swallowed, feeling the strange mix of awe and apprehension that had been building since the dream. "And these signs I've been seeing? The candles, the light through the windows, the whispers, they are hers?" The woman nodded. "Yes. Every flicker, every movement, every sound you feel but do not see carries a message. You must trust your heart, Father. There will be moments when reason will fail you, when logic cannot explain. But she moves in the quiet spaces of faith, where eyes cannot see and yet hearts can know." For a long moment they stood in silence. The wind rustled through the trees, and Bishop Barron felt the presence of something beyond ordinary perception. It was not frightening, but it demanded attention, respect, and a readiness to act. Finally, the woman spoke again. "She has chosen you, Bishop. You will face situations where your choices may protect lives, heal hearts, and strengthen faith. Listen carefully, observe, and act. The small things are never meaningless." Before he could respond, she began to walk slowly away, her steps light on the cobblestones. Bishop Barron felt a strong urge to call her back, but the words caught in his throat. Instead, he watched as she disappeared down the quiet street, leaving him alone with the weight of her message. That night, Bishop Barron knelt in the empty church, the shadows stretching across the stone floor, flickering in time with the candlelight. He whispered a prayer, asking for guidance and clarity. The dream, the signs, and the mysterious woman, all of it now seemed connected. And he understood, in a way he could not yet explain, that the lady in blue was preparing him for something far greater than himself. He could almost hear the faintest whisper, carried on the wind, soft yet insistent. "Watch, listen, act. The time is coming." Bishop Barron closed his eyes, feeling both anticipation and a calm certainty. He didn't know what the next days would bring, but he knew he must remain vigilant. Somewhere beyond the veil of the ordinary, something extraordinary was unfolding. And he realized that faith would not be enough on its own. Courage and attentiveness would be required too. That night, Bishop Barron returned to the rectory with a mixture of fatigue and anticipation. The encounters with the mysterious woman had left him unsettled, yet a part of him felt a growing sense of purpose. He could not shake the feeling that the lady in blue was orchestrating events that he was only beginning to understand. Exhausted, he lay down, closing his eyes. Sleep came swiftly, but unlike previous nights, it was not quiet. The moment he drifted, he found himself in a world bathed in soft, glowing light. In the center of this light stood the Virgin Mary, radiant yet approachable, her soft blue robes flowing as though touched by the wind.
She extended her hands toward him, and for the first time Bishop Barron felt a voice in his mind, a voice that was not heard with the ears, but felt within the soul. "Do not be afraid, my son," the voice said, calm yet commanding. "I have chosen you to see what others cannot, to act where others hesitate. You will be my instrument in guiding those who are lost, those in danger, and those whose hearts are heavy with sorrow." Bishop Barron wanted to speak, to ask countless questions, yet no words would come. Instead, the Virgin Mary continued, her gaze gentle but unwavering. "The woman you have seen is a messenger. She will help prepare you, but your mission will not be simple. You will face moments where faith is tested, where reason will falter, and where courage must prevail. Observe carefully. Act with humility and love. There are those whose lives you may touch without even knowing, and through them my guidance will be revealed." The light around her shimmered, and Bishop Barron noticed faint silhouettes forming in the glow. Families, individuals, faces filled with worry, sorrow, and hope. Each figure seemed to reach toward him, silently, urgently, as if pleading for help he had yet to realize he could give. "Remember, my son," she continued, "the smallest actions often carry the greatest weight. Attend to what is overlooked, speak to the unseen, and trust the guidance I give you through the signs, the whispers, and the messengers I send." Bishop Barron felt a surge of clarity, a deep knowing that these were not mere visions or dreams. They were instructions, a call to attentiveness and action. Every flicker of candlelight, every shadow, every whisper of wind or sudden intuition was now charged with purpose. "You will be tested," she said, her voice softening. "But do not fear. I am with you. Watch over the forgotten, protect the vulnerable, and in time you will see the fullness of what I have prepared. Act with courage, and hearts will be healed." Then, as suddenly as the vision began, the light faded. Bishop Barron awoke in his bed, the pre-dawn gray light of Portland filtering through the curtains. His heart pounded, and yet there was a profound peace within him. He knew now, with unshakable certainty, that he had a mission, one that would stretch the limits of his faith, challenge his understanding, and require vigilance beyond what he had ever imagined. As he rose and prepared for the day, Bishop Barron noticed the familiar sensation of being watched, not in fear, but as though someone was gently guiding him. And in the back of his mind, he heard again the faint whisper of that soft, commanding voice. Observe, listen, act, trust in what is unseen. From that morning forward, every movement, every shadow, every sound in and around the church seemed charged with meaning. Bishop Barron walked with renewed attention, ready to recognize and respond to the signs that the Lady in Blue was sending him, and knowing that soon the extraordinary would step fully into the realm of the ordinary, changing lives in ways he could not yet fully comprehend. The week that followed the second vision was unlike anything Bishop Barron had ever experienced. Every morning he rose before dawn, walking slowly through the quiet church, studying the flicker of candle flames, the movement of light through the stained glass, and the smallest details that might otherwise have gone unnoticed. Then, one Friday evening, the extraordinary occurred. Bishop Barron had just finished evening prayers and was about to lock the doors when he noticed something unusual. The old church bell began to toll softly, even though no one had touched the rope. Its sound was faint at first, like a distant echo, but it quickly grew louder, resonating through the empty parish grounds. Heart pounding, he moved toward the entrance, and there she was, the mysterious woman, standing silently at the doorway, her eyes fixed on him. Beside her, the faintest glow shimmered in the twilight. Bishop Barron felt a chill of anticipation. "She is here," the woman whispered. "Watch and see, listen and act, fear not." Bishop Barron stepped outside, and the wind seemed to carry a gentle warmth. The clouds above parted slightly, and a soft light bathed the churchyard. Then he saw it, something impossible. From the shadows near the side garden, a figure emerged. A young mother, frantic, clutching a child, tears streaming down her face. She had been seeking the church for hours, drawn inexplicably by a sense of urgency she could not explain. Behind her, the faint outline of another figure, an elderly man, disoriented and fearful, struggled to keep his balance. Bishop Barron moved quickly, guiding them inside. The young mother gasped as she knelt before the altar. "Please, I don't know why, but I had to come here. I felt something was wrong. My daughter, she's sick. I feared for her life."
The elderly man murmured something about an accident in his home, a gas leak he had not noticed until now. Bishop Barron felt his heart tighten. These were exactly the kinds of situations the lady in blue had warned him about in his visions and through the mysterious woman. With calm precision, Bishop Barron directed the family to safety, calling the local authorities and guiding them step by step. The young mother's child was treated in time, the gas leak neutralized before it could cause harm, and the elderly man was helped safely back to his home. And through it all, Bishop Barron sensed a presence beside him, steady and reassuring. He turned slightly and thought he saw, just for an instant, a figure in soft blue robes, her hands extended in blessing. When the night settled and the families had been taken care of, Bishop Barron returned to the empty church. Kneeling at the altar, he whispered a prayer of thanks. Tears filled his eyes, not from fear or relief, but from awe. He realized that the visions, the signs, and the mysterious messenger were all part of something far greater than himself. The next morning, the mysterious woman appeared one last time. "She is with you," the woman said softly. "Always. Remember, the smallest acts of faith and courage carry the weight of miracles. Watch, listen, and act, always with love." Then she disappeared into the quiet street, leaving Bishop Barron standing alone in the soft morning light. Months later, life returned to its ordinary rhythm. Yet the parishioners spoke quietly of the events that had unfolded. The family saved, the elderly man protected, the sense of divine presence in their midst. Bishop Barron continued his daily work, but he carried within him a certainty he had never known before, that miracles often come through the unseen, the overlooked, and the humble. And in the side garden of the church, the glow of candlelight at the altar seemed warmer, softer, as if the lady in blue herself watched over the parish, quietly guiding those who listened with faith and courage. Bishop Barron knew he would never forget those weeks, the dreams, the visions, the mysterious woman, and the extraordinary events that had unfolded. He had witnessed the invisible hand of grace in the world, and in doing so, he had learned a profound truth. Sometimes the most miraculous things happen not in thunder and fire, but in the quiet, unseen moments where faith meets action. And somewhere, in the stillness of the church, he felt her presence once more, a gentle reassurance that love, guidance, and miracles were never far away.